two, three. One, two, three. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to Teaching Crypto. This is AZcrypto and MrFOMO. And we picked up some followers, even when we haven't been on for a week because, MrFOMO, you were sick, and that's the only thing that kept us from recording. Otherwise, we would have definitely recorded some shows. So we're going to make this a good one for everybody. We're going to talk about where BTC might be headed, some strategies involved, and some tokens that could be bounce tokens in the short term, and also, just in case you're new, give you a recap of the tokens that we're really looking at for the long term. So right now, MrFOMO, we got back to $30,000, but we've had some scares where we've been in the 28s. A lot of bearish sentiment still out there. What's your opinion right now? What's going on with BTC really quick?
More confident today than I was yesterday. Yesterday saw us sort of decouple in the wrong direction, or maybe a day ago before, or a day before that. So it was a little bit concerning to see the other markets green, and that was Monday. So yeah, a little concerning to see the other markets green and crypto in the red. But we're stabilizing. It's not, all doom and gloom. But the markets as a whole just aren't great. They're just not, especially crypto is not great. And people are pulling back and taking a look and seeing where they want to put their money right now. And there are a lot of investors out there that really rely on that Halloween indicator. And we really don't, maybe because we're a little bit newer than most people to investing, and maybe we don't put enough emphasis on that Halloween indicator, but a lot of people have pulled back. And they're sitting maybe cash heavy right now, waiting to see what they should put their money into.
I did want to mention one token that we've been telling people might be a good idea to scale into. Sushi Swap this week is up 22%. We got 120 price. We're all the way up to 176. The market cap is at 381. So that's one where it's like we told you guys, very undervalued in the low $1 range. And even now, here's the thing: if we do go back to 28 and 27, it seems like, for now, it could get worse. BTC can get back to 30 fairly easily. There's still a huge appetite to buy BTC at 28. Now, could we get lower than 28? Absolutely. We got all the way down to 25 with the Luna. But Sushi Swap is one we've talked about that could be great value. We've talked about some others on this channel. Audius is another one we've discussed, and that got all the way down below 40 cents. It's at 47 cents right now. And I want to bring up one really quickly. KNC Legacy, it was one of the few coins that did very well during several bad months we had, and it retraced, and now it's coming back. So these are coins that have a lot of volume despite being in a bear market, which tells me, yes, things are bad, but there's still money in the market, which has always been very interesting to me. We talked about the Bored Ape. Well, all of a sudden, all this money flushed in a few days and the weeks after. So as bad as it is, there's still money. I mean, the Luna situation, you have people's money that are
yeah, you've got a lot of people from that.
Yeah, so it's like, as bad as things are, there's still an appetite for people to buy crypto. And I feel like there's still a lot of people waiting in the wings. And as we get closer and closer to the 24 halving, and all it takes is an ETH update in the summer. And if ETH finally does its, transition in the fall, things could change. Things could change. That's what I'm trying to say is, the switch could be flipped. And I'm not saying we're going back to 60K BTC. That would be absolute lie right away. But there are a lot of people coming out and saying, and I agree, you might not have to wait till 2024. You might see some action well before that.
And I would agree with that, and I'd especially some of the tokens I think maybe you missed. One we talk about a lot is, or I talk about, I know, is Algorand. It's at 41 cents right now. To me, that's a decent place to pick it up at.
Oh yeah.
You've got Cosmos or Atom, which is at 11. It saw a little
Very
bit
undervalued
the other day.
very.
It's very undervalued, and it's that interoperability play that we like so much. And a lot of things are built on top of Cosmos, which is another thing that we like. And then you've got gaming tokens like Mana or Engine, or
Mana's all the way back to $1. What a ride.
105. What a great pickup.
Well, again, and the thing is, I think people are looking for these things to get lower. Shout out to one of our followers. I was at a Rowdy's game over the weekend. He's never bought BTC before, and he's saying, man, if BTC gets to 21, I'm going to jump on it. And I said, well, it could get to 21, but it may never get there. And I was saying, even if it did get to 21, that there's a lot of people that are ready to pounce. And so that's what's interesting to me, is that there's even people that didn't get into crypto that are thinking about it, but they're like, well, is the bear over? And the reality is, we won't know when the bottom is in till we're much further along. So let me give an example. If this fall we're back in the 35, 36, 37 range, it becomes pretty clear that 25 was the bottom at that point, probably, pretty much, unless the economy goes into a deep recession, another black swan event, and then we slowly build our way up. Next thing you know, in the 2023, you're back in the 40s, and you're making that push again towards the next bull. So it's going to be really hard to time the bottom, and that's why we were talking about layering into these projects. I'm going to bring these projects up over and over again. These are my projects that I'm using to replace my Luna. Since the Luna Dream died and we don't know, honestly, it's not worth talking about because they're still in limbo. But I just want to, I want to really push these two, and I feel very good about them. Their safety, because they are US based. I feel really good about Avalanche and Eagle. There's a lot of money invested in both these projects. They seem to have decent tokenomics, especially Eagle for sure, with the limited supply. And Avalanche has so much use case, being that it's going to almost run Voyager by itself. I just think that these two are really primed to do very well in the next run. They're good values right now. Yes, the prices might go lower. That's what we're talking about. Just in case you don't know, layering in means, and maybe we should explain this in future shows, you put a little bit in now, and if it does go lower, it's not that big of a deal because you keep putting in a little bit more. And then at some point over the next year, you've spent all the money that you've kind of allotted for that token. And then once the bull starts, you've got your bag, as we say, bought. And now it's time to start taking profits versus waiting. Anyone can wait till 2024, but the problem is you're going to run into the problem we had. You're always playing catch up. And you're not taking profits because you're buying so late in the process. And that's something we didn't realize, is we're buying while other people that were in it 2 years before were selling.
Yeah.
So they were selling, they took profits before the first dump, got back in. And so they made life-changing money. And you, watching the show, if you haven't bought any crypto, you're chasing, okay? And you're going to end up buying Elrond in the 2 and the 300s while there's people that bought it at 90.
Right, and they're going to be cashing out with your money.
Yeah, they're going to be cashing out. Remember, it's not just what you buy; it's when you buy it. Buying Elrond at 500-600 in the next run is not the same as buying it at 90. I mean, buying, it is what buying sushi now under $2, and some people got it on 125, is not going to be the same as buying sushi between $5 and $10.
When the volume is up, sushi could easily hit 10. We've seen that happen throughout the whole.
So if you got Audius at 30 cents, you may have hit the bottom. If and that's one of the token.
And that's really the important thing to point out, is that the Bitcoin bottom isn't going to be the bottom for everything else.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be different bottoms. So it's important for you to look at You know, do your own research. Look at the tokens and coins that you're interested in.
Look at the market cap, because some of them have they're not going to zero. The people creating them are responsible enough to keep some supply off the market somehow, some way, whether it's called a burn or cold storage. Like we haven't talked about this one forever, but StormX is not going to zero. There's a certain market cap, you know. Cardano, as much as we don't love it, Cardano is not going to 0.001 cents. So
Right.
as much as Luna was depressing, I think what it did do is it really forced us to look at our research and say, okay, are we in anything that is vulnerable? And if so, who's running it? And the more I looked into Elron and Avalanche, the more I felt better, because there's real money behind these things and they're not fly by night. So as horrible as Luna was, it does kind of force you to really think about what you're in. And if you're not confident in it, it's time to take profits or get your money out, because you don't want that to happen again.
Right. And similarly, one that's not US based, but one that just moved from Singapore to Europe, one that you like to mention is VeChain.
Mm-hmm.
3 cents right now. I gotta say that's probably a project that's going to stick around because of the partnerships, not only with big business, but the partnerships with governments that they're making. They're cozying up not just to China, but now they're cozying up to Europe. And so when you see things like that, you can start to think, wow, we've got somebody that's cozying up to regulators in these bigger economies. We might have some strength in what they're saying.
So if you're doing the responsible thing and layering in, great job. If you're a degenerate and want to try to flip one of these coins during the bear, I want to say, if we do go back to 28K, keep a close eye on KNC legacy, just because the market cap is in the 400 million range. And today, for example, they had a volume of 121 million. That type of volume in a bear and the low cap is very, very interesting to me. So again, that's one that I want you to be aware of, because I know some of you are still trying to make money in the short term and the long run. So that's one. And again, I want to remind you guys that VGX is under $1. And yes, there's been a lot of issues, a lot of delays, but I can't imagine we're going to be anywhere near $1 in the years 2024, 2025, with all the utility that's happening. So that one, again, alone,
I still would like
under
to
$1 is great.
I would still like to see more urgency from them.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
To me, when you look at a guy like Sam Bankman-Fried over at FTX and what he's doing, acquiring these other places. I mean, he has like a 7 or 8% stake in Robinhood right now, and he's looking into buying sites like Webull. And so when you see an exchange making moves like that, and just getting stronger and stronger as they go, it's kind of worrisome for me, and looking at Steve and Voyager, seeing them sort of plodding along, saying, well, we've got a good plan. So I would really like to see more action out of them. I really have to say, I'd love to get that debit card. You know, I'm still a Friday purchase. I'm still buying my $10 every Friday with the heroes. I don't want to, you know.
Well, before we end the show, let's give some
like
VGX news. Supposedly the debit cards will be in everyone's hand during the summer. We'll see. And we should be getting a VLP 2.0 update at the beginning of June. So we will see if those two things happen.
Especially if the summer turns out to be what a lot of people think it is it's going to be sort of a down market or a sideways market. Then you can start accumulating at a really high rate, because VGX is below $1. Your purchases get you what, 2 or 3% back. You're gonna rack up the VGX, and then when that thing takes off, it gets into Europe and it gets into the other markets. You've really got something there.
Yeah. So guys, we'll be back later this week to give you an update on BTC, and we might have a flip for you. So we will see. Stick around, guys. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get to 70 or higher this week. For AZcrypto, this is Mr. FOMO. Have a good evening, everybody.